A game with all warlocks to the same deity would also be awesome.
It would be pretty fun.
Hey,
But I like
everyone.
the traveling band idea more.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, traveling band sounds cool.
Welcome to Jarviskjir Heavy Heroes, where there was a lot, where we chill for like an hour, but have all the conversation in the last 5 minutes before we're going to go live.
Literally the first 45 minutes is just like, hey, how's it going? Like checking emails, coffee, and then someone will bring up a
Little
topic.
anecdotes about a weird wee that got sold in Canada.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, right before we go live, talk about all the shit.
We brought up Star Wars. That was the mistake.
That was the
Yeah, that was.
mistake, yeah.
It's always a mistake.
I remember, to not go off this topic, I went to uni with a bunch of nerds, because I went to uni to study game art. Bunch of nerds. My best friend at uni was like, don't tell anyone, but I don't like Star Wars. And I'm like, I don't think you need to be that secretive about it.
I love that because that's like the equivalent of going to like a really like jock school and someone being like, don't tell anyone, but I'm way into Star Wars.
Absolutely. It's like
Don't
the same
tell
energy,
anyone.
but in reverse.
Was he like really buff? He was like into sports. Don't tell anyone, but I follow baseball really closely.
I also had someone say, don't tell anyone I've never played Bioshock, which was a similar energy for a game art college.
Never be ashamed or feel like you can't contribute to a conversation because you haven't played or watched a movie.
Yeah, most of you probably haven't played 4th edition.
I have.
Correct.
It's not great. It's okay.
I feel like
It was a transformative part of my childhood. Hey.
You
And
picked
he's
the best
broken.
time to freeze.
I know, right?
was
Yeah,
great.
that was a good
so
one.
good. That reminds me to get Snippet out ready to catch your reactions when you freeze.
Oh, don't do that. I mean, absolutely, dude. Only do that if you...
Collage.
I have a folder on my computer for that. Like, just for Frozen Faces, and I have forgotten to do it. So thank you.
You need more.
Ready.
I'm gonna start doing that.
Yeah.
I got the snipping tool ready.
Hey!
Same.
You need more emotes of just your frozen face. At reaction.
yeah. I need 75 viewers.
We need an emote of like a really blurry Ollie turned frozen face. So every time he freezes, we can just spam that in chat.
Good.
Anyways,
My favorite ones are the ones where we can't tell whether he's frozen or he's pausing for effect.
Yeah, that's funny.
And he's like,
It happens the other way around. Sometimes I'm waiting for, like, Will, and it never happens. Anyway, let's play some
what are we
D&D.
doing?
What happened last week, Josiah?
Oh fuck.
your turn.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's right. Because last week was the week Aaron wasn't here. Because I'm like, I feel like we didn't do anything last week.
That's correct.
We walked into
We
a
did
forest,
exactly one
opened a
thing,
box,
and
and
we
walked
did
back.
all.
Is essentially what happened.
Yeah.
We walked into a forest, got chased by some monks. One of them was a cyclops. They are no longer with us. We left a message with them. By with them, I mean carved into one of them for the other monks to find. And then we found a random cave. And by we found a random cave, I mean we started heading back after we basically opened the box to reveal the gate stone to basically set up a ping in case they were like tracking us magically. And then we're like, all right, let's head back. We met a very lovely lady named Prue, I want to say her name was. And she held us up for the night. We chopped some wood for her, had a grand old time. And then we were getting ready to head out. Virik and I were discussing how we were going to travel back, and then Baru was just nowhere to be found. And it turned out he wandered off into a cave, had an episode of some kind, and basically just drew like crazy
Good way of describing it.
Jim Carrey the number 23 symbols all over the inside of this cave. We were just like, okay, very cool. And he was also naked, which was also neat.
No, I was
We
wearing
got-
my traveling clothes. I had my cheese pants on.
You were naked in terms your armor class was naked.
It's true.
And your
You
character
made-
sheet was naked.
You made Virik drag your armor
I did.
so
Oh,
far.
yeah, it got so dirty. And
Mama's
basically,
scuffed to hell now.
we snapped him out of his trance-like episode, and then he was able to determine that it was indeed a map, and we think we know where the other gate stones are based on said map. And which, if I'm not mistaken, one of them is in the homeland of Beruit, and also that is the homeland of the Sun Elves, the monk people. And the other one, we're pretty sure, was at the bottom of the ocean?
Yeah.
Is that what we're thinking? Yeah, like off the coast to the west, to the bottom of the ocean. So that was fine. We spent the night there, set up an ambush because we were like, well, we don't want to leave this map here because if the cultists come and find this map. So we attempted to set up an ambush.
And including lots of
wrong.
conversations about whether magic could replace chalk that's been washed away.
Yes. The ultimate answer was, and we decided to just wash off the chalk and then destroy as much of the stonework as we could. And we got attacked by a Hydra in the night.
We
got attacked by a Hydra.
By a Hydra in the night.
Someone rolled a natty 1 on their stealth when they went to hide.
And despite the ice god's efforts, we're all still alive. And then we were like, well, let's trek back, and then we ended up back in Aradia. No.
Yep.
Yes.
You were correct.
We went back to Aradia, and then we basically ended as we walked back into town, if I'm not mistaken.
Nope.
No.
That's okay.
There was a short bit after that that had nothing to do with Tobias.
Yeah. Which he's
Remember, we went and got our captain.
Oh,
Your
that's
captain had been
I forgot
arrested.
about that.
Yeah.
We went to get on the boat, and then the captain was arrested, and then basically we asked around. I made friends with a nice young man, and then Bruin came in and made him afraid of everything because Bruin got a lesson on morals from an orc sailor, half orc sailor.
There's not much difference in Jarviskjir.
Yeah, right.
Important distinction.
And we basically went down to the jailhouse, and Beruit managed to use his affiliation with the religion that the elves follow to essentially bail out our sketchy pirate captain. By bail out, we mean she essentially got away with getting branded.
She just got a slap on the wrist, just a minor brand.
Just a hot slap on the wrist.
Hey,
Instead
she's
of,
Hot slap on the shoulder blade.
well, it was basically a branding on the shoulder or a slap on the wrist with a knife.
I mean, it's either
She did
you
not-
lose your hand or you get
You're
slapped on the
branded
wrist.
for life.
Or you get exiled.
Yeah.
Best
So
choice.
she didn't lose her hand or get exiled and therefore financially ruined. Instead, she's just got something to mark her as being a thief.
Mm-hmm.
Or a
Smuggler.
Smuggler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
that's where we
now
left
we're
off.
basically with her, yeah. And
Yep.
she was like, "Hey, that sucks, but thanks for helping me not lose a hand." And we were like, "That's cool, but we need a favor."
Yeah, she's now pretty loyal to you because aside from last time where you were basically just hitching a ride, this time you basically have a pocket captain.
Because of Beruit, we essentially saved her quality of life at the very least.
Meanwhile, a lot of people were like, "Hey, her ship's just there. You could just take it."
That's
like,
true.
no,
We
we'll go
had
get
an
it
opportunity
back.
to just
You
steal it,
did
but
you did resist murder
It wasn't
hoboing.
even like stealing. Like they were just like, "You can just take it." They're gonna like impound it
I
anyway.
ultimately decided against that for 2 reasons. One, because that's morally wrong. We would never do something so immoral.
And
2,
more
because if
importantly-
we took a ship with the 4 of us under the middle of the sea, we would most certainly never come back.
I mark this stream as having good characters, so you would never do something like that. All right.
Oh, I mean, it would be the end
not
of the
that
show
big.
because we don't die.
We would die.
Let's strap our flying stolen lifeboat boat to the back of it now.
Not stolen. Not stolen. Gifted. That was
Gifted under duress.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Gifted to
He-
us.
Gifted under duress.
Gifted under
with
duress,
get
I
out,
think, is the best way to describe
bring
that.
back.
Okay.
It is true. You let Eleanor do the negotiations for it, so it's probably under duress a little bit. Not intentional.
I
That
feel
goal,
like every conversation
goal-
Eleanor's a part of involves some man.
Gold has been useful.
that gold that you hustled
Oh
out
yeah,
of him.
the gold where you just added a 1 at the
A 0.
total.
I felt like we deserved more.
And
And I
got
think you
more.
were right, and it's coming pretty handy. We bought. What did we buy? We bought that box, but you knew about that. We stocked up on health potions. That was right. We
I saw
spent
that. And you
about
got shovels, right?
500 gold.
Mhm.
Yeah, we've spent about 500 gold on health potions.
Did we share the health potions out yet?
They're all in the bag.
They're in the party
Oh,
fund.
okay.
We have 11 health potions in the party.
So with
I think
that,
what we should do if we know we're going into a combat situation, we should just take one just in case.
Yes,
Everybody
you should
should
always
take
have
one.
at least
Everybody-
a potion on.
Everybody add 1 to your sheet right now, and I'm gonna mark 4 of them.
Now, on a related topic, Eleanor's been out shopping. So,
You gave us gifts. That was also very sweet.
Mhm.
I
was-
got you gifts. I got you New Year's
The
presents.
pillow.
Thank
That was
you.
very kind.
That pillow is so perfect.
So you want to spend around about 1,000 gold.
Yeah, like 500,000. They already got health potions. which
They
is
already
gonna
bought all
be
the
a
health
big
potions. The question is,
one.
do you want to just stock up on a bunch more?
No, because we have 10. That's a good amount right now.
Do you want
Nothing.
to buy? So that's like a huge. There's a 500
Yeah.
gold out
But
of the
it's
way.
still like 1k. I don't know how much the potions of climbing, potions of water breathing are going to be. Potions of water breathing are probably going to be a lot because
How
there's like
much of? So yes. Oh, let me get up. I forgot that you wanted potions of water breathing. They're going to be a lot. Let's
Yeah,
start
they're gonna be a
with
lot.
the.
I have
Basically, what we're going to
Yeah,
do
one.
is describe the magical stuff and then add a bunch of mundane stuff later and just round
yeah.
the number. So you're going to
Okay.
buy a bunch of comfort stuff. So the biggest expense is probably going to be the sending stones you want. Now there is
Yeah.
an option
Just wanted a pair.
which we discussed last time, which is a pair of books instead, where you write into them and it appears in the other book. It'd be a bit more expensive, but more than once a day you can do that. You can just do that at any time if you have ink.
How much are they?
Well, let's just abstract cost. Which one do you want?
Abstract cost.
Yeah.
I would prefer just the stones, because these are for like emergencies. Like we're splitting the party.
Yeah.
One of us is falling off a building, we'll say, or
You
Being
throw the
held
sending
on-
stone after it.
Or being
We can
dragged away
yell-
by mechanical guards.
call our friends and be like, "Hey, we need help."
Hey, I need help.
Yeah,
with the
no,
town.
that's fair. That's fair.
I feel like once a day is like plenty for what we need them for.
Yep, then in which case, sending stones, potions of water breathing. How expensive are those?
I have one
We have
potion of
one.
water breathing right now because
I was only gonna grab a couple, because again, this is like emergency, like.
Exactly.
Like, I'm wearing a set of full plate and I'm about to drown.
So would you want to buy like 2 more just for the sake of it?
2 more.
And
Like, 2
then,
more. Same thing with the, potions of climbing is mostly so Barut doesn't fall to his death.
So,
So maybe just a couple of those as well.
like 3 of
The rest of
those.
us- Yeah, the rest of us can climb.
So let's just summarize everything into being you spent X amount, like it's like 3 days past or whatever. You got some good deals, definitely
Okay.
via very polite means. Let's just cut
Go
an easy 500 gold off.
Okay, 500, cool.
And that also
And,
includes just buying a bunch of abstract supplies that will make your ship much more comfortable.
Yeah. I also wanted to get like the thermal blankets that are just like really
Yeah.
warm because we end up in the fucking north again in the blizzard. None of us thought to bring blankets. Flares. Again, like
Flares.
if we separate the party and we can't find each other.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to
And you know you understand the magic of Jarviskjir, like a thickened thing you twist that lights up. It totally
Yeah.
exists. Totally a couple
Okay.
of flares. Just so consider, add that to the party fund for one. But consider that the late retirement, which is essentially your ship now, has all of this abstract supplies on it. It's like in a system like Stars Outnumber, where you're just like, oh, we have supplies.
get
You
a
just
suit
have
under
stuff. You have a degree of comfort. You have nice traveling supplies for enough for all of you, plus NPCs, more or less.
Oh, and holy water, which
Yes.
Eleanor can actually make, but
Yeah.
it still costs like 25 gold, I think it is per.
I think
One?
so. I think it's 25 gold.
So, I don't know, we think a couple of those.
That sounds
Yeah.
right.
I
Two.
think you should get a couple of them.
Yeah, so I'll make a couple of those too. Because the number of times you've been like, oh, I wish we had holy water.
Yeah.
I don't have a potion on me. We don't have like blankets for the frozen. These are too many times that these have happened.
Which is why when you sent me this message, I was like, yeah, no, it's totally sensible.
Party mom has decided to buy shit.
look,
Yeah.
we are the worst adventuring party because we're not an adventuring party. We're like a one go out, deal with a monster, go home type of party. We don't do
Yeah.
long trips, and now
We're
we're
You're
very
only
close.
doing
have
long
to.
trips. Yeah.
We're a
We're
9 to
only-
5 party.
yeah,
Clock in, clock out. Go.
yeah,
Uh,
Someone
have
put
a
us in
life.
charge of saving the world, so. now we
yeah.
have to-
Well, that was a mistake.
Huge mistake.
Biggest
we'll
mistake.
see how big a mistake it is, depending on how many more episodes we have.
Yeah, well, you know.
So, for brevity, you meet back up with Eleanor, who has a wheeling cart filled with many goodies, which you just start loading up onto the late retirement, and you anything else you want to do in the city before you leave towards the Watcher's Isle?
Not that it really matters a whole lot, but just from like a roleplay perspective, this is reasonably something I'd probably want to do. I'm not wearing armor anymore. I'm over it. Armor is so 5th level. I just basically want to buy some like leathers and stuff, so I have like pouches and pockets that I can store crap in.
Oh, that's yeah.
Because right now I'm basically just wearing like my winter cloak and not a lot else.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. Just spend like 2 gold on that. That's
Sure.
That's one of those things where I kind of just assume you're buying vials and pouches and stuff because you're adventurers. So yeah, you spend a couple of gold.
This is why I say it's more from a roleplay perspective than anything. But I'm definitely gonna make a point of going into town, just getting some like simple leathers and hopefully some warm clothes. I guess I kind of already have winter clothes.
Hell no,
but ones that
yeah,
are
exactly.
not around armor.
So I have a question for the party.
Mm-hmm.
What is our plan from here? What is our
Island
next step?
time.
We're going to the island to figure out if we can destroy this thing? Okay, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Because I know
So
we know potentially where the other ones are. I don't think we should collect them all into one place.
Oh really?
Oh no.
That seems
I
like
think it's a bad idea.
good plan.
We need to get rid of one as soon as
Right.
possible. That at least makes their plans. They have to figure out a way around that.
Hot
That
take. What if we join the cult?
Yeah, no.
That would be a final act mission. Blend in with the cult.
Oh,
Betray him.
no.
Definitely would not go wrong.
Oh,
No,
I mean-
not at all.
You'd have to shave your heads.
yeah, that's immediately off the table.
Yep, nope.
Yeah, Baruch could do it. He could infiltrate them, I'm sure.
Can I get a bald cap with
That's
my
an
disguise
option.
kit?
Like, absolutely is the upsetting thing, is that I can't say no, because you definitely can.
I'm just picturing Virik wearing like just like a white, like pinkish skinned ball cap over his like head,
Painting it over.
matching his skin tone at all.
I'm not drawing that.
Are you sure?
Not yet, anyway. Yeah, the mission right now is going off to the Watcher's Isle, which means a little bit of ship time. And you described that you want to basically get as close as possible. It's got dangerous rocks and dangerous everything. Fly over the rocks and explore the island.
That's the plan.
Great plan.
See how that goes.
Totally relying on someone being able to fly the flying ship. And definitely.
That's someone who the dice hate. Will totally go great.
It's totally gonna work. Everything is gonna be fine. There's no world in which this doesn't go exactly the way we want it to. Relax, guys.
So, are you guys happy to leave dock?
I think so.
Alrighty.
We bought rations with all that stuff.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Well, Laren
I
usually
think
handles
it was
that
same as
because
last time, yeah.
she restocks the ship, so don't worry about that.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Um,
Just wanted to confirm. But apart from that, I'm good.
Oh, Josiah, do you want to add all that stuff to the party fund? I think you're the one who
Yeah.
keeps track of it, right?
Yeah.
I don't have that written down anywhere.
No.
Even though it's definitely not Tobias who actually takes back track of it, it is Josiah who takes track of it.
So what exactly is it we're adding all together, just so I know I have it?
Supplies.
Just
I thought I
like
was-
miscellaneous supplies.
What was it? 2 potions of water breathing.
2 potions of
3
water
potions
breathing,
of climbing.
3 potions of climbing, 2 vials of holy water.
A pair of sending stones. And the rest of it was just like stuff on the boat, right?
Yeah, abstracts,
flares,
supplies,
blankets,
supplies,
whatever.
blankets. Basically, you're living in some degree of comfort, even though you're
So
traveling.
2 potions of water breathing, 2 potions of climbing,
3
3 potions of climbing.
3 potions of climbing.
You guys don't have a lot of faith in my ability to climb things. Is
No.
Should we?
what that is. Which is reasonable.
Okay, so I got the potion stuff, and what else was it, sorry? I feel like I've...
To be fair,
sending stones.
Eleanor can't
Sending
talk
stones, right?
after trying to break into a window swinging and then just going, thunk.
Oh, another question. Did you guys sell your horses back to that guy?
Yes.
No.
No,
They ran off.
they
One of them
got
ran
killed.
off to the afterlife.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of them
No,
got
they
killed,
ran
the
off.
others ran off.
Yeah. One
You
of
guys
them
should
ran
be
off to
on
Valhalla. The other
We
one-
got ambushed. Okay, you
Yeah.
shush.
To be fair, we did do the whole counter ambush thing with the horses, but it was So like I was riding with the 3 horses.
It was actually sick. We dominated the cultists, but they started going for the financial damage and killing them. They were like, if we can't kill them, at least we can inconvenience them. And
Yeah.
they just started
Yeah,
killing
like
the horses.
legitimately, at the combat started, and one monk's not like, nah, fuck those horses.
He just punched the horse in the face.
It was very upsetting. I really
know.
liked that horse.
Like you do.
Yeah.
Oh,
Good times.
yeah.
Good times.
Can all of you give me your sailing rolls as you leave Aradia and start heading towards the mysterious Watcher's Isle?
Check or save?
Just a check.
Check.
Oh, this is gonna go great.
These seagulls are breaking my brain.
Oh boy, it's a good thing we've got navigation going at this point. Holy
Why are we
shit, guys.
so good at this?
Leaving port is difficult. Why did you guys roll
Hey.
badly now?
We're
Hey,
about to take half
at
the
least-
dock with us. Like,
At least, at least I'm taking my bad rolls out now, not when I'm flying the thing.
That's true.
That's what you said.
Don't give the dice.
So
don't
as
give
you
the
start
dice ideas.
as you start leaving, it's winter. It's the end of Feldspar, which is January in our calendar, which actually means there's ice in the water. Not a huge amount. It actually wouldn't be as hard as leaving the north, but the north also doesn't have ships that go that far out, at least in the parts that you live in.
not
So
even
it
the
means
gods themselves could sink this ship.
It makes it a very difficult journey because you have to veer around, and often you can't tell that icebergs are coming or something like that quick enough. Barut might be able to go. We have to turn very quickly to the port side. Then these two jokers have to run around the ship, trying to actually get the ship to turn port side. And I've played Sea of Thieves with Tesh, and no, it's not always as sharp as you may want.
Listen here, you little shit.
I guess the first time I've ever seen Ash get like serious.
Who's the one that drove and pinned the ship between two rocks? That wasn't me.
I think that might have been me, actually.
Yeah, I've never done a bad thing ever in my whole time
I
of
think
Sea of Thieves.
that might have been me on Sea of Thieves when I was not paying attention.
Now, I may mostly play Sea of Thieves while drunk and it's like 4 a.m., but that's not to do with anything.
I disagree, but continue.
Which means it's a slow journey. You never get into any sort of trouble where you're actually damaging the ship. Wear and tear, yes, it's not actual hull damage. The Light Retirement is actually a fairly hefty ship via like D&D standards. Usually most other parties with their ships, they're much smaller, but this is actually a cargo vessel. During this, Laren, during one of the more relaxed times, probably when you're just about to switch shifts, will straight up be like sort of leaning on the ship's wheel, very relaxed, and mostly to Barut, but anyone else who's around. She'll be like, so why are you going to the Watcher's Isle anyway? There's not meant to be anything there.
Well, from what I understand, there's not meant to be anything there unless you're meant to find it. So, we're hoping we might be meant to find it, especially given our circumstances and what we're actually doing. Now,
This whole magical destiny thing you guys have going on.
The
not really
the
destiny.
guy at the shop where we bought the box,
Oh, don't start.
he seemed to be under the impression that I was some kind of chosen one or something. So I'm thinking, that makes sense to me, anyways. So yeah, we're gonna find this island for sure.
I mean, finding the island isn't... Yes, we're going to find the island.
I've sailed by this island a ton of
It's
times.
not a problem.
Oh,
We know it's there.
Yeah.
My
Yeah,
old
right.
crew actually used to say a few prayers when it used to pass. So I guess it's got something
Why?
going on. back
Were they
home,
praying
we
to
we,
the
we
island?
we worship the Dragon King, and this is linked to it somehow. I don't know the specifics. I might have the ink, but I've not necessarily read every book.
In Draconic, just kind of out of curiosity, I'm gonna just say, what do you know about the Dragon King?
Was that to me? I don't speak.
Figured I'd see what you knew in Draconic.
I speak
But,
human and I speak dwarf. I can say a little bit in gnome. I can ask where the dock is and for paperwork.
Fair enough. What do you know about the Dragon King, if anything?
Well, in Northenden, we worship him. It's the sort of main faith. It's mostly because there's some sort of respect. It's a faith of respect that this great leader that pushed good ideals and things like that. Most of us are just sort of born up going to the churches, praying to the shrines. It's pretty relaxed as religions go, not like the mad folks in Goldport or even most of the elves. No offense. Shit.
No, none taken.
But I know that the Dragonborn, the Drakenbrow folk, they worship it in a completely different way. They worship these prophets. There's other gods as well. And I think there's one linked to Watcher's Isle. That's what I think that they used to pray to one of the dragon gods. I don't really know the specifics though.
That god or prophet or whatever is what we're going to find, hopefully.
Magical destiny. If you're going to meet a god,
You know,
Hopefully
at
not.
this point, who knows? I mean, I think at this point, what we're trying to do is we're trying to stop the end of the world. So, you know,
As you do.
yeah.
You get it.
I don't.
Some fools were.
Even when I was in the military, I wasn't trying to stop the end of the world. I was just trying to stop cows from getting stolen and folks from invading.
This
I
is
mean-
just that on another scale, really.
It's part save the world, part revenge. So
See, I
Well-
get that. I get that bit.
Yeah. Monsters of people destroyed half of Slate Cove. I don't know if you've heard about that.
You told me.
Right. Look, it's been a long. Regardless, they did that. Killed some friends, killed some family.
Yeah. No, I get it. I mean, you did me a solid. If you need my crossbow guarding a door or something, I don't really know what it is you guys do when you get off the ship.
That makes two.
neither do we. Like, it
Well,
sort of
last-
happened.
Last time we went to a floating city. That was interesting.
Yeah. I still don't believe that one.
Well,
Oh well. I mean, hopefully you're going to see this thing float, and then you'll believe us.
I mean, I
Hopefully you
hope
don't-
so. It's
I guarantee it's going to be interesting.
if
no
you're
matter
trying to
what.
go
Yeah,
through the
either
rocks
way.
around Watchers on a rowboat, you ain't got the arm strength, and Aelinor hasn't got the finesse.
It'll be interesting to say the least.
Eleanor looking pissed in the corner.
Pissed and finesseless.
All right, can you all give me another sailing roll, please?
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
Maybe.
That's better. I'll take it. Hey, look.
You're usually looking to just get above a 10, so you've already not got a clean sweep today.
Well, almost a clean sweep.
How are we so bad at this?
Well, you're not sailors.
We.
Virtually, the odds should be so much in our favor, right? We all have a bonus. It's more than a 50% chance. If you're looking
We
to get
all-
above a 10,
Yeah, well,
it's the worst one is actually Eleanor, and that's still like a 60% chance to hit it. Anyways, I'm just salty because I can't roll above a 5.
At least you're honest about it.
look, salty is how you get better at sailing.
Hey, you it's not so hard sailing as you get closer and closer to Watcher's Isle. It's a big landmass as islands go. It's much larger than Astana. You can see it from quite a few days away as you're heading towards it, but mostly because the weather's cleared, mostly. Actually, a few days away, when you can see it on the distance, and Barut is trying his hardest to calculate just how scary the rocks are outside the island, but you can't really tell from here. Or if anything is on the island, and as far as it's just sort of a green mass. The ship comes... You feel the ship rock, and anyone who's up on deck sees a large creature jump up and land on the very front of your ship. This large creature, Barut did not see coming, kind of has the features of a tiger. Before you start thinking, not that tiger. Its fur is much more a sort of navy blue, and where it would have sort of the back legs and tail, it does have back legs, but it kind of stretches off into sort of like a dolphin tail, kind of like a mermaid. It's like a weird sea tiger thing. And it straight up launches on the front of the ship.
Well, let's kill it.
Growling low. And when you're like, it actually speaks.
I don't care. I'm still gonna kill it.
Don't attack it yet.
It does
Is
say...
it daytime? Is it daytime?
Yeah, it's kind of... It's daytime. It's like late evening.
Okay.
Aelinor has switched shifts with Laren, or is going to. Is like kind of waiting. It says, your ship's going to sink soon anyway. You might as well hand over any trinkets and gold you have on this vessel to me before you meet your untimely demise on that island.
Alright, well, time to kill it.
We don't have any.
That's such a lie.
You can give me a deception check.
We have an artifact of unfathomable power in my pocket.
Oh.
Oh, wow. If this works...
Like, I'm just standing on deck, like, waving my hands like, are you kidding me? We don't have anything. Like, we have provisions to go onto that fucking island. Are you, like, why would you think we have anything? Why? We're going to the place. We're not taking things there. We're going to try and take things back. What the hell are you thinking?
Funnily enough, that kind of stuns the creature. It has kind of humanish eyes, even though it is this giant tiger beast. It's just like, this ship has no gold, no treasures.
No!
You're going off to meet a god and you have no tribute.
The fuck are you thinking? Look, let me just be clear about this, okay? We're going to a place that is said to maybe house a god. Maybe. If it really does, do you really think that it is the type of thing that is looking for tribute? Common tribute? Trinkets and baubles?
Every other ship that goes this way seems to think so.
That's probably why they sink.
Weighed down by all the gold.
Foolish thoughts and plans and a misunderstanding of what the divine truly seek.
Well, you seem to have it all understood. I'll merely wait under the waters and wait to devour your corpses after you drown. I'll give you that pleasantness.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
It straight up jumps off the ship.
Okay, yeah, but how are we not sure it's not gonna attack our captain while we're gone?
Yeah.
We're not.
I still think we should just kill it. It's in the water now.
It'll be curious to see what we come back with.
Maybe we could become friends with it instead.
No, at the very least, is when we come back off the island, it's gonna be like, hang on. You're coming back. You're gonna have shit now.
I'm gonna ask our captain what she thinks about it, and if she thinks she can be safe while we're
Yeah,
gone.
what even was that, Laren?
Well,
I've seen a tiger before, and I've seen sharks before, and this seems to be a combination of the two.
no, it's not a tiger shark. Those are different.
Yeah, okay.
We just call them sea tigers. They don't really give themselves a name. I've seen one before. You kind of did the good thing, you know. They got magic. Usually talk out your way out of it. I've always been told to compliment them, and maybe they go away. But I guess you did a better job, just straight up telling it off.
Burwood's just still shaking his head. He's just mad. The audacity. Jumping onto our ship like that. Just...
Come on, what are you doing?
Look, we don't know what he's going through right now, okay? Let's not jump to conclusions just because he was acting like a jerk.
The tiger shark?
Yeah.
He literally just said he's going to devour our corpses.
No, there are a lot of... You ever met someone who talks a lot but doesn't actually... I mean, they can kill you, but like they probably won't.
Oh, okay.
Well, if they come back, just tell them about our magical destiny, and they'll probably come back with treasure or some bullshit for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll keep my crossbow
Alright.
loaded in case.
It's
Okay.
fair.
There's a couple days more of sailing, and actually it's Valentine's Day in our world calendar. When you get to a point where you can't continue anymore, straight up Laren like anchor the ship because you can see the island. You can actually even on clearer times when there's not mist in the way and the spyglass, you know, is favorable. You can see all the way to a shore. It's kind of one of those pebbly shores. There's just a ton of jagged rocks that are all pointed outwards that surround the outside of the island like a moat to a castle. Laren anchors up the ship and straight up just kind of is leaning on one of the railings, waiting to watch your ship, your boat fly.
Well, if that doesn't seem purposeful, I don't know what is. Jagged rocks sticking outward? That's not how the sea works.
Yeah, but there's also a big old crack in the middle of Jarviskjir that's got like evil magic coming out of it, so
There's
I
a
don't really
what?
question things anymore.
There's a what in the middle of Jarviskjir?
She just like takes out the map and shows you the breach in the middle of the map.
Oh, did she say crack?
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought she said there's a kraken.
In the
Oh,
middle of Jarviskjir, yes. Yeah.
Okay. This is much less troubling. Yeah, I'm aware of the crack. That's where the flying stones come from.
Yeah.
Look, you said you don't really
This
question
is the
things
one thing we know
anymore,
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand the
This is
sea.
what
I don't understand
Fly.
whatever the hell you're talking about at most given times.
Well, you
That's
We
see,
fair.
get that a lot, honestly.
Honestly, we kind of often just say the things that we've been told. We don't quite
so
like,
That's
understand them.
My
Good
understanding-
soldiers. Good
Yeah.
soldiers.
All right.
all right, here, go fly the ship.
Let's do the thing.
So you all get
Have you been
on,
practicing with us?
Yes, I was luckily.
but not flying it.
No, I couldn't fly it in the dock because I couldn't. That would.
She's
cause
been
too much
practicing
fuss.
doing regular rowing.
I thought I was practicing just moving it back and forth in the water, just not lifting it up.
That's
Like
that's
the
rowing.
controls.
That's regular rowing.
This is not.
I-
That's
okay.
not how airships work in Jarviskjir. The up and down is a completely different system. You've just been rowing.
That's good.
Well,
It's got a sail.
Oops.
It's kind of like a separate thing.
I was getting used to
before-
the way it moves.
Before you do anything, I'm going to tap you on the shoulder and just kind of tell you again what I learned from the controls as much as possible. Go over it.
You get yourselves in the tiny rowboat. It's a squeeze. You get ready.
Remember to buckle up, Tobias.
Seatbelts.
Seatbelts. And Virik, do you want to give me a dexterity check?
Oh, we're all gonna die.
And then
Oh, not bad. It's not.
and then
not bad.
D4, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's a D4. Hey, an 18. It's pretty good.
18 is pretty good. You first of all, you drop just into the water. You don't like fly off the side of the ship or anything like that. And start rowing away. Laren's just like, yeah, good luck. When you get, there's kind of like an inward swell towards the island that's very dangerous. You manage to get the controls working properly. Angle the one sail this ship has that kind of goes awkwardly off a spoke on the side to catch enough wind that you launch out of the water. And what might be like a kind of accidental hop on a wave on any other ship, in this ship, in this boat, the Brightwood device in the back activates with a pull of a big old clunky lever, and the ship just kind of like hangs in the air. You actually don't get enough height to go like straight up over the rocks, but you hang in the air 5 or so feet above the water level most of the time. It goes up and down enough that you aren't being pulled into the rocks, which is enough for you to kind of like angle the sail and kind of carefully get yourselves into that shore where you turn off the device, land definitely mostly on the shore instead of the water, and just back down. This is a big heavy metal boat when it's not just flying. But it did take you a while. This took several hours because it doesn't have a big sail and it gets a little bit of wind. You have to be really careful even though you're flying. By the time you get on the shore, it's getting dark.
Once we touch down, I'm gonna then just stand up, thus revealing that my seatbelt was never buckled. I was just holding it down. And
I'm gonna slap you. I'm gonna slap you.
When you do
Tobias
that,
takes
what?
1 point of damage.
Think about this. If this ship goes down in the ocean, do you really want to be locked into the body of it as it sinks to the bottom?
Yes.
Okay. Agree to disagree.
Buckle up next time, especially when we're in the air. If we're in the water, I don't give a shit. But when we're in the air, when we go up, you buckle up.
Fine.
You don't want to die on impact, Tobias.
Can I roll sleight of hand so he doesn't see my fingers crossed?
Yes.
Read it. Really?
No, fuck your,
Really?
fuck your
Passive
perception.
perception's better than that.
Yeah, well,
the service thoughts you read this is fucking bullshit.
The area around you is a beach of black pebbles and a little bit of black sand. It's mostly one of those sort of shale and pebble beaches. A little bit of a rocky cove with some cliffs around it. You can hear the nighttime chattering of several birds. And there's a way up onto sort of the main of the island, which, as Brute has seen on the maps and from a spyglass, appears to be mostly grasslands and forests.
Well, we should make camp here for the night, I think, before we go any further. It's not...
Do we want to try to find somewhere secure away from any potential creatures, since we don't know any of the surrounding area?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Probably.
Do that.
Survival roll.
Survival check?
Yep.
Here we go. It's not bad.
That's a pretty good one. You managed to... Would you go along the beach, try and find like a cave, or would you go a bit more inland to try and find just somewhere?
I mean, ideally, we can
way.
find, like, almost, I don't know. Yeah, I guess you said there was, like, a forest nearby,
Yeah.
right? What I would love to find would be, like, a point where that forest is kind of dense along, like, a cliffside, or if that's around, so we have, like, a wall against our backs, so we can also set up camp in the forest and also only have to worry about, like, a 100
1 degree, yeah, exactly. That's usually what a good survival roll for looking for a place to stay is, or something like that. And it's a good idea too, because when you go and leave the beach, which is one of those things you kind of like trudge, especially in armor, you notice giant, sort of lobstery like creatures sort of peering out of the water that probably would have got you if you were going via the water, that kind of just sink back away. You managed to find a relatively safe spot again with to make a camp with your back up against a sort of cliffy wall, and set up camp. What's your order of sleepings?
I would like to take first watch if possible because I don't have night vision, or dark vision rather. I don't think anyone in Jarviskjir has night vision. And then so
I'm sure
maybe
gnomes.
Yeah, maybe. But, so
They don't have it, they'll make it.
And I'm also going to set alarms everywhere with rituals, and I'm going to use my 2 arrow traps as well, just because there's no reason to not set them up. Yeah, I'll go first, I guess.
Middle of the night watch should be Vieric.
Yeah.
I will take
I'll do
that.
the last watch because
Yeah.
there might be some light.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last watch
Morning.
will be
Yeah.
a little bit. I mean, it's winter,
Yeah.
so not much, but
Yeah.
you can
That's something.
kind
Well,
of do
these-
stuff in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Can you all give me wisdom saves?
Oh no.
I'll give you advantage.
Saves.
If anybody, are you guys within anybody who's within 10 feet of me at the time?
Everyone.
Gets my charisma.
Yeah.
Everyone gets +2.
Plus
Oh,
2.
cool.
Oh, thank fuck.
Okay, and you said we have advantage?
Yes.
It's 11.
14.
So that's actually even better. Eleanor, when it's time to your watch, you actually notice that Vieric is kind of wandering off. Like when you're usually like, okay, you get some meditation in. He's kind of wandering off. You go and follow him and find Brute also wandering off, listening to music that's seeping between the trees. Very obviously a harpy song. You snap them both out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Very, like, probably literally slap them both
Yeah.
out of it and just drag them back to camp. They don't really know what's going on. They're like half asleep. Just put them back to bed. Keep an eye on them.
Alright.
Doesn't happen again.
Excellent.
I have a fucking +7 to wisdom saves. I rolled a fucking 12.
Yeah, welcome to my world anytime we're on a boat.
Yeah.
Once we're off the boat, I can roll fine, but
Yeah.
on the boat,
The dice know Tobias doesn't like water.
Yeah,
That's true.
it's like when I had my wizard with +5 strength but could never hit anything. Just not
a lot to
allowed.
unpack
Just not
there,
allowed. When it comes to morning, this is just like camping in any other forest in this part of the world. It's not snowy, really. There's kind of a bit of a morning frost. You have a very loud bird song, and actually it's when you make sure there's no harpy song in there as well. It's quite beautiful. Chorus of birds, unlike even the magical elven forests. And eventually the sun starts to beam down, and you can go about your day with some hearty ration breakfast.
I'm assuming maybe over breakfast, Eleanor's are you gonna tell us about the harpy song situation, about what happened
Yeah.
last night? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Why
almost.
does my face hurt?
Why is there an Eleanor-sized gauntlet imprint on my cheek? I'm almost afraid to know what happens if we do this, but I would like to take a few minutes over breakfast to see if I sense any monstrosities.
Everywhere.
Just fucking everywhere.
It's actually not as much
Okay,
as your
that's-
average forest. There's clearly a harpy nest nearby, and you can kind of feel that. But when it comes to monsters, usually you feel a lot more background radiation in a forest. There's not as much.
Okay,
Interesting.
that's good to know. That's kind of weird, actually. See, I don't know if that's better or worse than what I thought was going to happen. But I'll definitely make a point of noticing, like, I'm just going to take a little walk around camp and try to find traces of this kind of stuff and come back and just make a point of determining the direction in which the harpy nest seems to be
Yeah.
and telling everyone, like, we should avoid going
With that 20,
that way.
just completely circumnavigate.
Yeah.
You know that harpies are more hassle to fight than fun. Probably you fought one before.
Other than that, though, this forest seems weirdly devoid of predators. At least of what we're used to seeing in other forests. Doesn't seem to be any traces of dire wolves, anything big. No hydras around, that's for sure. Not that there are always hydras around, but you know.
But there are some.
Didn't
Right.
detect traces of really anything.
Wonder if there's a different food chain here.
Huh.
Maybe the Dragon King does protect this island after all.
Maybe.
Or something else is just top predator.
There's just as much likelihood for a rational explanation as there is for a divine one at this point. So
I'm gonna look to
Don't-
Baru and be like, so where are we going?
Like the fact that you made divine and rational two entirely separate things.
The cleric.
I don't care for that.
The cleric said this, yeah.
the divine can't be
actually
rational,
know.
but
I
it
disagree.
often supersedes the rationale of mortals. It's just it's a higher order of rational. There's
You know what we could do? Speaking of rational and divine power, we could ask one of the creatures in this island if there's a big predator around.
we could. Well, more specifically,
yeah.
you could.
Yes.
Yes.
Applying rational thought and my divine given power.
Yes.
She's not dropping this for a while.
Again, I'm not separating them. I'm just saying that there's a higher order of rationale involved in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's
I'm
find
a
an animal.
cleric.
It's actually when you're having this discussion and like you're about to go look for some sort of minor wildlife that usually you'd be scared away by their camp, but you actually hear people, Barut. You hear what sounds like someone falling down a hill,
Someone is
and then
falling down
someone
a-
else worrying about them.
Oh dear. I think which direction is it from us?
Kind of northward.
North. We're going north. We're going north right now.
Do
There are
you,
Okay, yep.
do you want to stealth? Do you want to?
Someone's
I'm for
falling.
sure gonna stealth.
They've
Like also-
fallen. They're not falling.
Oh, okay.
It's like you hear the whole event.
Oh, okay. Well, if it happened already, then I'm gonna go slow. I was gonna say, like, if Burrow just was hearing them still falling, he'd probably rush.
Continuing to
Yeah,
fall in the world's biggest hill.
There's a big old cliff right beside us. They could be going down a sloped side of it, and then in that case, hey, we've got an easier way up.
Absolutely.
Right?
If you want to
You're-
stealth, roll stealth.
Virik waves his hands to do the pass without trace.
Oh, good.
Oh, good.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter.
The dice know. The dice know.
You
Look,
walk towards this noise, like kind of crouching, breaking twigs under your feet, your armor grinding together. It's kind of been making a lot more noise since Baruch dragged it through the bushes the other day. Some
Eric.
minor twigs stuck in some of the joints.
I really need to just cast mending on this thing, but I just haven't yet.
It's gonna be like an evening. And while you're walking towards the source of the noise walks towards you, and there's literally a moment where you part over some bushes while the people on the other side do the same, and who you see on the other side appear to be two green-scaled dragonborn. They're wearing clothes that are kind of similar to togas, but with a little bit more, decoration on it. And they look as surprised as you. And in Draconic, the one who's behind them, and they're both male, is just like, well, there they are. And then and this is in Draconic, and the other one's like, well, there's one of them. And then in
Hello.
Common's like, excuse me.
In Draconic, I'm gonna say hello.
Oh, thank the dragon, they can speak. Okay.
I will warn you, the rest of my companions cannot speak Draconic, but I can. I'll be translating for them.
We can speak Common. And the other one's like, yeah, we can speak
If you
really
like.
good Common.
Whichever you'd prefer.
Let's speak to the mother's tongue for now. Who are you?
My name is Burwit Benerin. I am of the Grey Fists and of the fools who decided to try and stop the end of the world. I suppose that's what we're calling ourselves now. I'll say, turning back to the rest of the group.
At this point, I'm just gonna like walk out of a bush.
Varric just falls from the tree line right next to you, just.
And just gonna point at the dragonborn and be like, they can speak human.
They noticeably grimace at one of you. It's hard to tell which one they find unpleasant to look at. But these two people, they're very well pruned. They're very well kept. Like their scales shine and are glossy.
Wonder which one of us they find hard to look at.
They're like, is that all of you? The four of you? And then Com's like, yes, we see over there, and pointing directly at Aelinor. Don't worry, we are not here to enemies.
I can just, oh no! I can just imagine Aelinor is just like the tree, and you see Aelinor
Sword.
It's just slightly too thin. The tree is just slightly too thin for the shoulders. Hard to tell. Yes. Hi. We don't really know what we're doing here. We have a... Well, no, that's not true. We do. We're trying to stop the end of the world, but how we're going to go about doing that is a big question mark. We're hoping to get information, I suppose.
Well, information we can lead you to, I suppose. And the other one who at this point is kind of like just looking around, like he's walking away a little bit. It's like, yeah, we'll just take a lot of... This is Intraconic. They're just having an easier time speaking it. Like,
Yeah.
We'll just take you all back to the village. That should be fine. I mean, you got this far.
Okay. And I'll turn back and say in comment, we're going to the village.
Oh, there's a village. Okay.
And then they just start leading you through. At one point, the one who's a little bit more talkative, who's a bit shorter, has a little bit more... they actually don't have the sort of hair frills that Dragonborn often have. He actually sort of has a fin. Goes down the back of his head, a couple of them. And he's like, my name's Velas. That is my bondmate, Agron. We were here to look for you, to be entirely honest. Usually we know when people are coming quite a bit faster than that. So sorry for the delay.
That's all right.
You get a lot of visitors here?
No! Very
I can't
few.
imagine why.
Now, just out of curiosity, why are the rocks pointed outwards into the sea by the shore?
Bad people. Keep people away. And then the other one, who's Agron, who's now a bit further away, is like, it's not like we did it. It's just a happy coincidence. And I was like, it's not a coincidence. It was deliberate. It's just not. We didn't push those rocks there ourselves. We're strong. We're not that strong.
Fair enough.
There's a little bit more polite, nothing conversation.
Yeah.
And we're actually going to take a quick break as
Good.
you wander through the forest with your new tour guides.
Oh, good.
Be back in a bit.